On the day my wife gave birth to her terminally ill first love's child, my Mr. Hale and Mrs. Hale sent 10 hired thugs to guard the maternity ward. But even after the delivery was over, I still never showed up to cause trouble. My Mrs. Hale held my wife's hand and sighed. "Don't worry, Chloe. With us here, we absolutely won't let him come near you. Your dad brought people to guard the hospital entrance too. If he dares come and stop you from having this baby, we'll call the police." My wife looked weak and pale, but still subconsciously glanced toward the elevator. When she saw no trace of me, she finally let out a breath of relief. She couldn't understand why I couldn't just understand her, when all she was doing was helping her first love leave behind in air. Looking at the newborn crying in the nurse's arms, she smiled with satisfaction. She thought that if I came to see her tomorrow, she would let go of all our past arguments. And she would also be willing to let me become the child's father. But what she didn't know was that I had just submitted my report to go to the United Nations. 7 days later, I would give up my citizenship, become a borderless doctor, and never come back. The day Chloe walked out of the postpartum care center, I had just finished handing over my work at the hospital. As soon as I reached the door, I heard laughter coming from inside. "This baby is so pretty. Those big eyes are clearly from his father's best features." My Mrs. Hale happily teased the baby in her arms, while Kevin came out of the kitchen carrying a steaming bowl of broth. "I made this soup myself. Your body is still weak, so you need to eat more." He sat by the bed and fed Chloe with obvious tenderness, and the whole scene looked exactly like a warm, happy family. My Mr. Hale was holding a rattle, smiling so hard he could barely close his mouth. "This kid is so likable, just like his dad. Good thing he isn't like Ethan, so gloomy and dull. Having a doctor for a father would be such a headache." My hand on the doorknob instantly tightened. I remembered the first time I met my Mr. Hale, when he patted my shoulder and said being a doctor was a good thing. He even said he had been a doctor once too, and if his hand hadn't been injured in a hospital dispute, he would never have retired so early. But now he was saying doctors didn't deserve to have families. I had only been away for further training for a year, and this family had already completely shut me out. I lowered my head and gave a bitter smile. I had been married to Chloe for 3 years, and she said she didn't want kids, while I also understood how dangerous childbirth could be for women, so I never forced her to have one. I still remembered the day I left for overseas training, when she cried her eyes out and said she couldn't bear to part with me. Clearly, for this past year, we had called each other every day and shared our lives, and even our colleagues joked that we had been married for 3 years, yet still acted like a couple in the honeymoon phase. But a month ago, I finally managed to get leave and come home. Even after an 8-hour flight, I never once said I was tired. Who would have thought that when I rushed home, I would see Chloe with a huge belly, standing beside her first love, the man she had always had a soft spot for. My thoughts were pulled back by Kevin's words. "Ethan, when did you get back? Why are you standing at the door and not coming in?" At his words, the others in the room also turned to look toward the door. When my Mr. Hale saw the resignation report in my hand, his brows knitted even tighter. "I really don't know why I chose to trust my daughter to someone like you in the first place. What bad luck. Now that you've quit your job, are you planning to have us two old folks support you? Is that how you behave as a husband?" My Mrs. Hale joined in criticizing me too. "You quit? You couldn't even keep this job. Tell me, what else can you do? Chloe's body isn't convenient right now, but she and the baby will need money